You watch news or anything, and everyone can see society is changing and the direction we're going in. We need to have more training in defensive tactics and more skill sets if we are placed into that situation where we have to apply it. You should have some area of study. To me, it is a life skill. If you can't devote a lot of time to it, devote some time to it. At least get some knowledge and information. At least you'll know what to do in a situation. You need to invest the time, put the time forward, and develop those skills and the mindset that comes along with it for that moment if it shows up. I've been influenced by so many different people in the martial arts industry and the martial arts culture. I've always been the type of personality that sought information, like a perpetual white belt. Even in the small town I grew up in, I was a member of multiple different martial arts academies. If I could afford it, I would join, and I'd travel to train. I wanted to know who was the best at any given skill, and I would become a student. That's how I spent my life. I thought as being a martial artist, as being a warrior, that was our job, is to seek out the best. Some systems will solely focus on one area, like they'll just focus on grappling. Some systems will just focus on weapons-based training. Some are just striking-based. In order to cover the full spectrum, you have to go and look at different sources of information.
What he does is he actually tests all the techniques and concepts and puts them in a laboratory, figures out what works and what doesn't, and then figures out how to simplify it and make it accessible for other people.
Well, our program, it does teach the full spectrum of combat, full spectrum of violence, all the way up through lethal force. As we were building it, we did see some gaps of knowledge, like the verbal exchange, low-level controls, de-escalation.
A lot of times I go into a martial arts studio right away. Well, I'm just gonna assume you're in a fight. I want you to stand like this, put your hands up like this, and get ready to go. But there's a lot of stuff that happens prior to that, the social buildup, that exchange that happens between you and a potential threat. So we want to start becoming aware of verbal sparring.
Not all fights start right off, right? There's a buildup. If you know how to navigate that, it gives you some more confidence.
Critical, if I'm backing up, right here I'm gonna stay hands-on. I don't want any trouble.
This isn't normally taught in martial arts, but it is so important because people will get lost.
The stress levels might be more. That stress narrows the brain power a little bit, the vision, the ability to hear, starts to take things away. It's better to kind of determine what you're going to do now, and then all I have to figure out if I'm placed in a situation is when I'm gonna do it.
We don't just teach this to civilians. We have been brought in a lot lately for law enforcement that are learning the same skills. I'm working with several military groups that work on protection teams, so they're having to deal with the public and same set of skills they're having to implement. Part of the fundamentals that we teach in the combat blueprint is firearms and edged weaponry. Everything has to take into consideration your everyday carry. It makes us implement a firearm or a edged weapon into everything.
That's why I like this, is because I wear this all the time. Grappling, pummeling, punching, kicking, running, because I want to know what is it going to feel like to have to present in any scenario.
There's certain mechanics that you have to learn and do just to grapple, because it's based on the human machine and its interaction with another human being. But when you start to implement firearms and straight blades, it really changes the fundamentals. There's certain moves that you have to make adjustments to protect the weaponry. There's certain mechanics that you have to adjust to protect the weaponry. There's certain habits that get ingrained from the system that I can't be comfortable with if I have a firearm on. That makes us really take a step back and redesign how these systems are done. I've watched in my career how this has brought individuals through time to higher levels. And to me, that's a powerful thing. That's what happened to me, and I've been very fortunate to influence individuals and help them grow and go on and do more than they ever thought they would do. Myself, as a warrior, I look at it as part of my responsibility to be the individual that's going to step up. If you're that type of individual, you're that like-minded warrior mindset, same thing. That is our job, is to maintain that mindset and to be that individual that is continually growing and gathering information and advancing and then turning around and sharing it.